Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with actress, model, and burlesque club troupe owner, Terra Incognita. Terra, how are you this fine evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing okay.
Just
So,
okay.
just okay. So, how did you get started in modeling?
Well, I got started in modeling when I was about 18, and I was in college and started working for the art department, life drawing, painting classes, modeling for students. And I ended up meeting some of the professors and kind of becoming a muse for them and began working with them and some of their other endeavors, their personal endeavors, and just branched off from there. And primarily, I'm a photography model. I do a lot of vintage stuff, a lot of fetishy things. I have posed for paintings and sculptures and stuff as well, but the vast majority in the past 15 years has been photography.
And then you transitioned from photography to acting. How did that transition come about?
Well, it just sort of happened, I guess. Much like modeling wasn't something I really sought out. It just sort of came about. And the way it happened was Joe from Old School Cinema was wanting to start his Old School Cinema project, and I was at that point a very well-known model, and he approached me and asked if I would help him with setting up this concept of Old School Cinema, and the face of that company would be women called the Cinema Sirens. And so I guess I was the first cinema siren. So I was involved with Joe from sort of a behind-the-scenes organizing things standpoint, and then at some point just became an actress as well. So my first role, the first movie that he made was Horror Convention Massacre, and I was involved in some behind-the-scenes stuff with that, some fundraisers and party planning and things like that took place before and after the movie itself. I wasn't involved in the actual movie in a technical or acting capacity. And my first actual acting took place in Spook Show, and I mean I was in it for all of 2 seconds. I made a very brief cameo, and then I was in She Devils a Go-Go as the lead She Devil who kills everyone.
For She Devils a Go-Go, you killed several people and wondered if you had a favorite kill.
My favorite kill was killing Hot Carl Ferrara, who is, in addition to being a fabulous actor, also a comedian and a DJ. And he had called a call girl because I was in the house with all of these men and sort of going from room to room killing each of them. And he was hearing noises in rooms and stuff, and he thought that everyone in the house was getting laid by him. So he called a call girl. Now, I found her in the house and lured her into the shower with me, and then after we showered together, I killed her with a bottle into the back of the head. And then I went into Carl's room. He thought that I was the call girl that he had ordered. And so we're sort of bantering back and forth, and he was wearing a towel. He opens that up, revealing himself, his little Carl. And I had a straight razor behind my back, and I cut it off and threw it against the wall and proceeded to slash him to death. So that was my favorite one. I love the cinematography on it. It was sort of a slow motion slashing thing, and the stunt cock was fabulous. It was hand sculpted out of gelatin. Our props person was really great, and he made this flesh tone jello in a a cylinder mold. And then once it hardened, he sculpted it by hand. So it had a fully articulated frenulum and veins and everything. And then he sewed hair into the base. And it was hollowed out, and that's where the blood capsule was. So when I cut Carl's penis off, it was this, bleeding, dismembered member. But they were very generous with Carl in terms of size, and he has nothing to complain about, even though it was short-lived and I cut it off. At least he had it for a minute. And it was great. I'm not sure if any of that scene is in the trailers, but if any of you out there have the movie or plan on buying the movie, you'll have to check that scene out.
And then the other one that I really liked was when you cut off the tongue.
Oh, with the eyelash curlers.
With the eyelash curlers.
Yes. Yeah, Gina Heartless, who is She-Devil number 2, and I lured another of the housemates into his room, and he thought we were playing a game, and we had his eyes covered, and we're saying, okay, open your mouth, and we're putting different candies on his tongue and things like that. And then finally he opens his mouth and sticks his tongue out, and he got his tongue clamped in eyelash curlers, which severed the tongue, and then we proceeded to kill him as well when he couldn't scream for help.
And it was made in 3D without 3D glasses, which was a pretty cool touch. After you did that, you are currently working on Indie Director, correct?
Yes, I've wrapped up filming of Indie Director. That's making its big screen debut in the AMC theaters in New Jersey. Specifically, the official debut will be at the Cobblestone Theater and I believe Clifton, New Jersey. Indie Director, yes, I was involved in that, the Beelzebub movie, and the Indie Director is about this man named Sergey, who he's this sort of sleazy movie-making guy, and he's trying to lure Beelzebub into making movies with him. Sergey makes adult movies. Bill is not aware of that. And in fact, he's very bristly about that because his movies he's made a couple and they've been kind of racy, and he's been accused of making adult movies and is very much not cool with that title and doesn't want to be associated with that at all. So he's offered a very lucrative deal to make 3 movies, and he doesn't quite understand the legalities of it, and how is this person able to offer me all this money for these movies, and he has a lot of questions. And my role as Marissa, who is Sergey's assistant, is to basically seduce Bill. I'm actually a call girl in this movie, unbeknownst to Bill. I'm posing as the assistant, and I've been hired to seduce Bill and kind of keep him distracted and ensure that he signs up and signs on to make these movies before he has a chance to really realize what's going on.
Now, for people who may not know, Beelzebub also did a movie called Night of the Pumpkin, which I actually recently saw for sale at a Barnes & Noble.
Wow.
Yeah, I about hit the floor when I saw that.
Oh yeah, he's I believe made 54 movies, and he has distribution. He's on Netflix, so he's not a joke. It's not a Mickey Mouse movie. He is very professional, very serious about what he does. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's come up with for this movie.
How did you meet Beelzebub?
I met Beelzebub at one of the conventions, actually through Old School Cinema. I was there promoting one of the movies. I can't remember if it was She-Devils or something earlier than that, but I was promoting for them, and most specifically, they do an event called a zombie walk twice a year. Everyone dresses up as zombies, and you bring a can of food or a little bit of cash, and you're allowed to walk with all the zombies, and he gets hundreds and hundreds of people to do this, and it's a promotion to raise money for the food bank. So I was at a horror convention, a movie convention, and I had two gentlemen dressed as zombies, all painted up on leashes, and I was walking them around and giving out flyers for this event. And Bill happened to see me and called me over and said, "Hey, it must have been after She Devils because I believe he was aware of it." And he said, "Hey, I like your work. I would like to work with you sometime. I like your look." He gave me a couple of his titles to go home and watch, and basically said, "This is what I do, and if you're interested, get in touch with me and we'll work something out." So fast forward probably a year and a half, maybe. It turns out he was casting for indie director, and he's a New Jersey boy, if you guys don't know, kind of the Newark area. And I was going to be in New York around the same time, so our schedules clicked, and the movie was made. But I was just there one day, and all of my scenes were either with just Bill and I, or if I'm interacting with someone else, they're jump cuts, and I'm really just talking to a door, and then the other person's gonna be there, and they'll cut it together so it looks like I'm interacting with other people. So I really didn't get to meet much of the other cast. I don't know the full scope of Bill's vision, so I'm really excited to see what he's put together. And that debut is supposed to be the end of May, so it should be around pretty quickly, and I should know soon how fabulous it is, but I'm sure it's great. All of Bill's stuff is.
And I have heard that there's another project you might be working on as well.
I am going to be working on a project with Darren McDonald, who was the person behind Devil's a Go-Go. And he's also known for making documentaries and things like that. He did one called Out of Place, which was a documentary about surfers on Lake Erie, and it gained some pretty good traction. It was featured in a couple of international film festivals. And so he does have a background in making, more serious movies, not the campy type of things like She Devils is. So his next movie is going to be, it's a fiction, but it's a very dark, dramatic kind of fiction, not the slasher type movie at all. More of a psychological thriller, I guess would be a good term for it. So that's set to film in probably July, and I'll be the lead female role in that one.
I look forward to seeing that.
I do work as a dominatrix at times, primarily because I'm fascinated by people's psychology and what makes them tick, and I have a very good friend who owns a very well-established, reputable S&M dungeon, and it's been there for over 20 years, and she gives me the opportunity on occasion when I want to come in and work with some of her clients and sort of dig deeper into their mental states, and I enjoy doing that, and they seem to enjoy coming in, and it gives them a safe, sane environment to express these sorts of things, and gives me the opportunity to pick their brains a little bit. So,
is there anything else you would like to promote or anything like that?
And there's nothing upcoming that I can really think of. I'm going to be at Chiller in New Jersey on Sunday the 28th of this month. But just as a civilian, I'll be there. Hopefully I'll see some people out there that I see at some of the conventions, and some friends that I tend to only run into at conventions, because I like running into a lot of those people, like you. You're one of my convention friends.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, there's certain people that you only see at conventions, and I see them every couple months, whatever, whichever ones they go to, because I go to a lot of them. So pretty excited for Chiller. I'll, be hanging out pretty much. I'm not there in any sort of working capacity, but looking for some friendly, familiar faces.
Do you know if you?
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you know if you will be at Fright Night?
I will probably be at Fright Night. In all likelihood, I'll be at Cinema Wasteland in the fall. Yeah, I generally make the rounds, so, and with Indie Director being out in the next month or so, by fall I should be in full swing with that one. So, looking forward to that. And gosh, do I have anything else coming up? I'm doing a lot of photography and a lot of modeling. I'm currently meeting with a playwright who's writing a play with the relationship between an artist and his muse, and I've been meeting with him to help him sort of get the character and the voice of that muse to help him write the script. So that's been really fun. I'm excited for that to be completed and actually see on stage. Goodness, I can't think of anything in particular. I do own the Cleveland Burlesque Company, which is a burlesque production company, and we do public as well as private events. Burlesque, primarily, classic burlesque, but we can also supply sorts of entertainment, comedians, people that do sideshow stunts, things like that. As you may or may not know, I used to tour with Jim Rose of the Jim Rose Circus, doing a two-person thing with just Jim and I, him doing his sideshow stunts and me doing burlesque. So that's, sort of my background in terms of burlesque. So I do put on those sorts of productions. It's not something that I actively market, but when people approach me to make a really cool event for them, I try to make it happen. So I'll let you know the next big event we have going on.
Now, where can we find you? If people want to find you and the masses want to find you and get a hold of you, how can they do?
Well, your easiest route would be to go into Google and put in Terra Incognita, and make sure you get the spelling right. Terra Incognita spelled as the Latin map-making term. And put in that, and you should come up with Facebook for me, Tumblr, Twitter. I think there's even an old MySpace. I have 4 different Facebook pages for myself, my actual profile, my Terra Incognita fan page, Cleveland Burlesque page, and then I have 50 Shades of You, which is sort of my exploration of the S&M bondage lifestyle. And if you go to any of those pages, you'll get a whole list of links of where else you can find me. Links to movie trailers, links to photography portfolios, pretty much whatever you're looking for. Or you can just send me a message and ask, and I'll send you whatever you want.
I appreciate you taking this time out of your busy schedule, and hopefully we can talk again sometime after while you're promoting Indie Director.
Sounds great. Yeah, that should be coming up really soon.